Welcome. So today we're going to read from a story that we wrote last summer. This was specifically written to a person in his mid-20s who was interested in the ancient world and the Renaissance and history, but he didn't quite know where to start. So we made a short story, about 30 pages, called The Renaissance, Part 1, about the person who's going on this journey through a summer, and then how the discoveries on the way is changing him and how he sees the world, and also this process that he's gradually changing his perception of his own part of his environment as well, and it's just like opening up, and he finds the portal to opening up this whole world, and then where to start. So the little story starts like this. As I opened my eyes and felt the soft sunshine gently over my face, I rested my hand on the little espresso cup in front of me. The village square was full of light, and the green on the trees was slightly glowing in the early rays of sun this morning. On the table there was a little book, a newspaper, and in the middle of the square a fountain with marble sculptures of little Renaissance angels. I leaned softly back in the chair and closed my eyes again to feel the sun touching the side of the neck, the arm, and the hand, feeling it deeper. And then I was looking out at the square again, and the little church facade with refined ornaments and columns, and a beautiful fresco in colors above the door. The life of the square had become a home for me. And I watched the people walking by the fountain, and a young couple sitting down at another table in the café, smiling warmly to the waiter. I then saw an old friend in the distance and felt fortunate. It was a perfect morning and a great day with promise before me. I lifted the espresso cup and felt the first taste of the coffee. It was a moment of presence and almost outside of time. Just being and feeling the little square around me. A little world of its own, with people, beauty, arts, and with trees and nature. I wanted to pick up the book, but hesitated for a moment. I wanted to enjoy the moment a little bit longer before starting. Feeling the sun, the coffee, the people, and the blue skies resting above. As I somehow knew that the journey that was about to begin would change me and my life in profound ways. I felt ready, but wanted to remember this moment when it all started. The peaceful morning in the square, and the sun over my face. It was time to begin, soon. Okay, so this is the opening scene. Just making a couple of comments here about the symbolics of some of the elements. So it starts with opening your eyes, which is it's a timeless symbol of starting something new, like embarking on a new journey, but also kind of suddenly seeing the world around you more clearly, or do you start noticing things and this waking up feeling? So that's the first few words. I open my eyes. And then he's feeling the soft sunshine gently over his face, which is both, it could be many things, like life and its enlightenment, that he's going to be going through, like a discovery that's going to make him understand more. It's also just the pleasant situation he's in, the square. And it's also then just life and energy and vitality and kind of this life-affirming good energy that is around him. And he rests his hand on the espresso cup, which is more to set the atmosphere. And then you have other things here. So the square is full of light. Again, like this kind of something is going to happen of illumination. The green on the trees was softly glowing. So this is important to get in the beginning, that you have nature. So it's about culture and learning things, but you also have this parallel with nature, or like this is also a part of nature. So the trees in the square is important for the person. And then there's a book on the table. And the book represents knowledge and this whole journey that is about to start. And also kind of civilization in some sense. It's like one book, and the whole of history. Like the total sum of human experience and knowledge and philosophy and literature put into one little object. And there's a newspaper, and then in the middle of the square, there's a fountain with marble sculptures of little Renaissance angels. So the fountain is more just like an example of beauty, but it's also kind of the physical representation of history with the little Renaissance angels. It's beauty, and it's also history. And this will come back many times later, that he's seeing it just as something nice, but then gradually this will change. Because he's learning more, the way he interprets the world around him will change. So that's why this is put in the beginning. And also just like as a reminder to stimulate beauty in, like when you read it, that you can think of something beautiful, which is an important part of the process of learning in this particular kind of process that he's going through. Yes, he leans back in a chair and he feels the sun touching the side of the neck, the arm, and the hand. So just reinforcing this feeling of the sunlight, feeling it deeper. So using the word deep is also just to open up, like this is not going to be on the surface. It's going to go deeper on more profound or more kind of older things in yourself as well and in your nature. And then there's a church facade, and then there's a beautiful fresco. Some of this is atmospheric, some is deep symbolic. So the life of the square and become a home. So this feeling of belonging in a home is important. As a prerequisite for starting on the journey, you have to be in a kind of a setting that feels natural. It feels, or it's always a positive, that it can be somewhere that you feel ready to learn and to discover things, and doing it in a positive environment. And then you get some other elements, which is, it says here, people walking by the fountain, a young couple sitting down at another table and smiling. So just adding the element of the social life. So in this square is supposed to be both like you have culture and you have nature, and you have like history, beauty, and you have people and friendships and just a social life. So all the basic elements are kind of little microcosmos of life, as like in a larger sense. So that's why I saw an old friend in the distance and felt fortunate. And there's also a point that the friend is at a distance, so it's coming towards him, but at the moment he's alone because he's going on a journey inside himself. So this is more like a private moment, but he has a friend just to kind of light up this the joy of friendships in life. And then it's a perfect morning. So the morning topic is kind of, this is the beginning of something, and the great David promise. And then he has the first taste of the coffee, just like one more step towards getting ready and waking up. And it's a moment of presence and almost outside of time. So this is something that's going to be more clear after a while, that like this person is feeling very kind of clear and starting to kind of feel more awake in this little square. But then the things that he's going to go through are more timeless topics about deep philosophy and kind of the long emergence of history and different experiences in the culture and the history and the human experience. And then he feels this little square around me. This is meant to, like, hopefully when you read it, that you start to feel this environment of sitting in the square with the sun. The little book is the anticipation, and it's a warm and sociable and pleasant situation to be in. And then it's a little world of its own: people, beauty, arts, and trees and nature. So that it kind of repeats the little theme. So that's the first paragraph. The second, we read 2 paragraphs in the beginning here. So the second few sentences is he wants to pick up the book. He's hesitating. This is kind of, before you start on the journey, you have to be ready because it's going to change him. Because he wants to enjoy the moment, feeling where he is, remembering the blue skies, resting above, and the journey. He has this instinct that what he's about to start is going to change him. Like it says, he and his life in profound ways. And he's ready, but he just wants to kind of have this little moment of putting this in time, that this is something this is when it started. And it's peaceful, again, the sun and time to begin, like focusing on those two concepts of beginnings and of time, and then soon it's going to happen very quickly. Okay, so that's the opening scene of the story for that's called Renaissance Part 1, 30 pages. So we're going to make more videos about this and go through it and comment on it. And if you have any thoughts, please give us comments, and yeah, just follow us, and hope some of this was interesting. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.